Soldiers of Shoot.
Welcome, troops, to Ladies' Night.
Woo!
Yeah, Ladies' Night, and the feeling's right. And I got Hollywood Edwards with me. I got the Captain of Chaos, AC, Daddy Cool with me as well. And we're going to do a little bit of the woman's evolution.
Yeah, yeah.
What an evolution.
So let's start it off with, we may as well start it off. We've had a couple of weeks now since WrestleMania to get a good hard look at our double belt champ, the double champ, Becky Lynch, carrying both of those belts. It's a lot of hardware. I'll go to you first, Hollywood. How is she doing in your book? Is she getting the job done? Has she risen above the rest of the talent? And will she take the woman's evolution into that next level?
Negative, sir. Negative. I think it's what we expected. She's still getting a reaction. Not nearly as good as Kofi is getting. Go back and watch it. Anybody argues, put it down in the comments. Go watch it. She's not getting that huge reaction. She ain't Stone Cold Steve Austin. Know why? She can't talk to save her life. She's holding those two belts, and I look at her, and I'm picturing the little girl, the 4-year-old girl, walking around in mommy's shoes and mommy's dress with mommy's makeup smeared all over her face, because that's what it looks like. She doesn't look like a champion to me. She doesn't look like a wrestler to me. She doesn't sound like a wrestler to me, and her moveset is very average. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I don't think it's going to take long until we see Lacey Evans take one of those belts and possibly Charlotte take the other.
AC, now he's absolutely wrong about that, right? She can talk. She is a great entertainer because she is the female version of Conor McGregor, correct?
Well, although she may think she's the man, I'm not so sure she is. Listen, I'm on the same tune with Edwards here. I think we all saw this coming. I think we saw it coming a long time ago. Her white hot run was so short, it made Goldberg's look like a decade. Just being fair right now, I don't see it. When they all came up, the 4 horsewomen of NXT, and actually the three came up first, not all 4. Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky. Edwards and I talk about it. He's like, dude, I think Becky's the one who's lost in the shuffle. And for a long time she had this little white hot run, and I think it got to the point where they're like, oh, we got to do something with this. Like we talked about on other shows, perfect timing. Plus you got Ronda Rousey. Here we go. And looking at this women's roster right now, the biggest star they have is Charlotte Flair. And I don't even think it's close. Even if, as a heel, with Ronda being out of the mix, as far as we know, I think Flair's actually the man. And I don't know if I'm ready to say Lacey Evans should have a title, but it could happen. Maybe Alexa gets back in there in some way. Hollywood. I think Alexa and Charlotte may be ahead of her. I really do.
Hollywood, with Ronda Rousey leaving anyway, and it appears that that's what was going to happen because we saw that she's on her whatever pregnancy vacation.
Impregnation vacation.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
She probably let Travis impregnate her after the Hall of Fame.
Could be.
I mean, he was the first one in there fucking that dude up.
If she's a good woman, she gave it to him right then and there.
Listen, it probably didn't take long.
My question to you, Hollywood, is that if Ronda was leaving anyway, if you're the WWE, why not try out Becky? Why not give her everything and see what she could do with it? Was it worth a try, even though it seems like it's not working?
To me, it was worth a try, but I got to say this, guys. I agree 100% with Charlotte being the star of the women's division now with no Ronda. But if you look, we saw so much programming with Ronda involved all the way up to the main event, WrestleMania. Now she's gone. To me, it immediately the women's division immediately reverts back to where it is because Ronda's not there. And what I mean by that is it looks like pre-Ronda Rousey women's division again. Like it's mid-card, you know, the interest. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say bathroom break because it's not terrible.
Right.
But
and that's probably extreme. That's extreme.
But not much farther than that.
Well, we actually got to see Ember Moon tonight, which says something because when's the last time we've seen her on WWE programming?
Well, we saw her in the
Rumble.
The Rumble,
right,
yeah.
Which was a pre-show match.
But she's been on it.
She's been pretty buried lately, and now, you know, I don't know. Maybe now that Ronda's gone, they're going to bring some of this other, you know, some of these other girls in and give them a shot.
But that's the thing, though. If they don't have the right champion, it's not going to work for the other girls. And I don't think they have the right champion in Becky.
Stames, you brought this up. You said with Ronda leaving, should they have given Becky a chance? And I think we all could agree, you know, maybe they should have, but did they have to introduce the second title? Could she have not just won the Raw title and still had an Asuka as a champion, or maybe somebody else coming out of Mania? Did she have to win both titles? I mean, they literally took all their eggs and put them in one basket. And they did that. They didn't even have to do that. It was the main event before they introduced the SmackDown title. Why go all in with it?
I actually think they did that. And Hollywood, I don't know if you'd agree with this or not, just because they wanted to make the match even bigger. Once they announced it as the main event, and it wasn't getting the love they thought it would get from everybody out there, once Charlotte Flair got that other title and they threw it in there, they thought that would definitely secure it as the main event because the match was for all of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably what they did.
Now, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy for them to get one of those belts off of her now because they have Money in the Bank right around the corner. And isn't that the gimmick with Money in the Bank? You say which belt you want to wrestle for.
You can cash it in on whatever brand you're on, I guess, right? Or did they lift that?
I mean, I don't know. Does it change year to year? I think it does.
I think it might. Yeah,
it changes year to year. So maybe they're just gonna do a. You could pick what brand, or maybe they're just gonna say SmackDown women are going for the money, and so they could only cash in on that one title.
Right.
I mean, they can manipulate that story any way they want to. I'm just saying is if they actually thought that was going to add to the match, doesn't that speak to their overall disconnect with what's really going on here? If they really think people are going to, if people cared about the match, they would have cared about that match with or without that second title. If they think, that just speaks to how disconnected they are. Nobody cares. You made that SmackDown title unimportant when Asuka retained it on Royal Rumble, and then the girl she beat wins the Royal Rumble and goes after the other one. You diminished your own title. We didn't do it. You did it. And then you're going to tell us that that's a bigger deal to put it back in the match?
And then they held her off.
You can't manipulate people that way.
Then they held her off. Then they held her off TV for a month and brought her back for a Mandy Rose angle that lasted 2 weeks, and then she dropped the title to Charlotte.
And she did, but she also brought up how many times that she submitted Becky. Why even have her say it? You should have no-sold the fact that it happened. They compound their mistakes.
It's weird, man. It's weird.
It's not all these athletes' fault. They're being put in very bad positions.
So if I asked each of you guys, wrapping this part of the show up, for a timeline on Becky Lynch, double champ, how long will it be until Becky Lynch is not a champion at all?
Oof, not a champion at all?
Yes, both belts gone.
Both belts gone. SummerSlam.
Wow. AC.
I disagree. I think she's going to lose the red belt, and she'll carry the blue belt into the Fox portion of SmackDown because I think they believe that she still has that draw.
See, I think they're going to panic and put Charlotte blue belt champ going into Fox because her last name is Flair.
Could be true. That wouldn't that would be the better choice, to be honest.
I know. I agree.
Well, I'm going to transition here. It's funny that neither of you are saying that actually it'll be Sasha Banks that will take one of the titles away from her. Hollywood, do you think you might be selling Sasha Banks short here?
Does she work for the company anymore?
That's a good question.
Let me say this, and Iconic AC over there, throw in if you want, but Monday night, they did the backstage vignette. Bayley's back there trying to get a hold of Sasha. She's not there. Okay. She picks a new partner. It's, Tamina, I almost said. Naomi.
Does it matter? I mean, no offense to Naomi or Tamina. It's not you. It's not them. I'm just saying, does it matter, though? Does it?
No, it doesn't. But from there, you have Corey Graves burying Sasha, taking her ball home and all that business. And then we think, okay,
which is right.
They're replacing Sasha. Maybe it's a storyline. Well, a couple hours ago, Bayley's like, I'm a singles wrestler on SmackDown now. Okay, so scrap the storyline that we were building with her calling Sasha on the phone last night. I don't even know if she works there anymore, dude. Who knows?
It's hard to explain. But let's be honest. Let's just say she comes back now. Do you really think they're going to put her in a prominent role in anything?
Hell no.
Between now and WrestleMania next year? There's not a chance in hell.
Nope.
She's going to, if she comes back now, they're going to put her through hell. They're going to test her like no one's ever been tested before.
She's going to be wrestling Maria on Main Event.
Yes.
Yeah, and losing.
Probably.
And then she's going to have to show how she deals with that.
Well, are we to the point where we give our opinion on how she acted?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely.
I'll say this. I understand when you work somewhere and you're passionate about it, how you can get upset when things don't go your way or don't go the way you perceive things should go. I understand all that. But I'm going to say this. This is the problem when you tell everybody that they're a king, a queen, a prince, a princess. You're all the best. You deserve everything.
A boss.
You're a boss.
Yes.
Right? And
Princess.
you deserve the world, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Your dreams matter.
I think some people take all of that to heart, and they think they need to be the center of attention all the time. Sasha's probably sitting there. She doesn't give a flying fuck about tag titles or Bayley, saying if Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky are in the match, it should be a four-way with the boss. And this is just my opinion. I don't know her from a hole in the wall. I don't think anything they did with her would have been good enough saving her being in that main event. I think that led to this, and then you're now losing these tag titles and claiming that there's some time. This is my other big issue with it. What kind of story are you talking about? Oh, we were going to go on this show and defend them on this show. So you're going to bury every tag team on every show to make yourself feel good. Is that really a story? No, it's not a story. It's just something that's happening. There was no story behind them winning it. There was no story behind them defending it. So the idea that they trashed this great storyline, which is going to be so magical, where are you? What planet are you on? My general feeling is, again, not knowing her from a hole in the wall, you forgot that you wrestled in the Bethany Town Hall 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. You really did. Understand where you came from. I'm not saying she should get on her knees and bow to Vince McMahon or to what the WWE is doing. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm also saying is it's still your job. They're still paying you a handsome wage. You still have a prominent role on WrestleMania defending a title. The idea that it needs to be magical in this great story, nobody has a magical great story. Kofi is the only one that did on the entire show, and it was more organic than anything they probably really wanted to do. It just kind of happened that way, which was why it was probably the only good thing that happened.
Now, we talked about this on a show, actually, a couple of shows back. We mentioned some of this stuff when we heard that she didn't show up for the Wendy Williams stuff. But Hollywood, this new revelation of where they were lying on the floor at the arena and at the hotel and screaming. I mean, if it's true, that is just, I mean, if Vince McMahon saw that, like the report said that he actually saw that, I can't imagine that it's going to take a long ass time for Sasha Banks to get back in good grace with Vince McMahon, if it can ever be done.
If ever. Yes. We know from history, take Triple H with the curtain call. Do you know how he buried Triple H for how long because he went and broke kayfabe? I mean, that's something else. And Triple H was in the doghouse for a long time. I should say Hunter Hearst Helmsley was in the doghouse for a long time. So imagine Vince McMahon, a 70-year-old man, dealing with walking into a lobby and seeing two of his top performers kicking and screaming like children. Can you imagine what the 70-year-old Vince McMahon is thinking in that second?
You know what I think he's thinking?
Tell me.
Why did I ever put these women over, pal? Why are women main eventing WrestleMania right now, and I got to deal with this shit?
Yep.
So Sasha did a disservice, and Bayley.
For the whole thing.
You know what? Put Bayley in there too. I don't give her a pass. Even if it was Sasha's idea, we don't even know that it was. She did it too.
Yep.
You guys just did a disservice to all these women you claim to be about and be teammates with and do all these great things together, and to the people that came before you. You did a disservice to all of them, because I think, you know what I think Vince is thinking? I should just stick to bra and panty matches because it was easier.
Let me ask you this, Hollywood. On that last show that we did, and we talked about this a little bit, the Steamtown Stunner made an assertion that maybe Sasha Banks hasn't been as confident since she injured Paige. And Bobby called that an accident. And then AC, you actually said, well, I don't even know if I'd call it an accident. I think that Sasha is reckless was the word that you used. And you said that you cringe sometimes when you see Sasha wrestle. So Hollywood, my question to you is, was it an accident? Is she reckless? How do you look at that whole Paige thing and the way that went down?
If you watch the video, she gets full extension on her legs. I know Paige has done that move similarly, but if you watch other people do that move, as a matter of fact, not to change subject, but AEW just signed Darby Allin. Pulling up some Darby Allin matches. I like his look. Just we'll get there on a different day. But
you're gonna love him, bro. You're gonna love him.
I'm watching some matches, and he did that exact same move to somebody. And he doesn't extend his legs. Once he makes contact, his knees are still bent. You know why? Because it's a fake wrestling match, Sasha. That's why. You kicked somebody in the spine on purpose. You can't tell me that was a botch. And I know Paige has come out many times and said she didn't do nothing wrong. I called the spot. You called the spot, Paige, but guess what? Somebody tried to knock off the top dog, and she did it on purpose. Go back and watch it. I will challenge anybody. Paige is being a pro. I will challenge anybody. Go back and watch that and tell me that Sasha didn't kick her on purpose like that.
Bro, she did. And she injured her, and she injured her on purpose too. I'm with you, bro. I've been saying it since day fucking one.
Yep.
That there's no excuse for it.
And you know what it is, dude? I don't know if she's like just mentally not living in reality or what the hell it is. Maybe the temper tantrum was because she doesn't realize that she's a mark and she's in the business. She's marking out for herself, which is a TV character, because she didn't win the fake title anymore. She doesn't have the fake title, and that hurts her feelings. Dude, I would fire her. I would give her a mental evaluation. I would get her the hell out of my company. You know what? Go toil on the indies and see what it's like not to be in NXT where you're taken care of.
100%. And if I was AEW or ROH or whoever, I wouldn't sign her.
No, I wouldn't touch her.
I wouldn't sign her. Oh, so if I don't put you over, I got to deal with your temper tantrums and your attitude? Get out of here. Mm-hmm. You're not that special. You're not that special. I think there's underlying issues with her. I really do. I'm not going to lie.
It might be. Maybe she does have issues.
I said, like I said, I wasn't kidding when I said I felt uncomfortable watching her matches. It started with the Hell in a Cell with Charlotte, the main event at a pay-per-view, because Sasha's so mistreated. She never got a big spot. She's first woman ever to main event a pay-per-view in a Hell in a Cell, but they never did anything with her. They held her back. Even guys we somewhat agree with have their memories fried with this stuff. They act like Sasha's been mistreated. She's been
true. Yeah.
In these top programs since she came up. She was in top programs throughout takeovers. When are women main eventing takeovers right now? No.
Nope.
They did when Sasha and Bayley were there. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where are you going with all this?
She's the first tag team. She's the first tag team holder of those belts. What more do you want?
None of them have Charlotte doesn't have an axe to grind.
No.
Becky doesn't have an axe to grind. Bayley doesn't have an axe to grind. Sasha doesn't have an axe to grind. And Alexa Bliss doesn't have an axe to grind. Maybe you can make a case for Nia Jax. Maybe you can make a case for Ember Moon. But those top-level first-comers and this whole revolution and all this bullshit, do they really have an axe to grind? They've won titles. They've main evented. They've set trends and done Royal Rumbles and done things no women have done. When is it enough? When does it become enough? If my feeling is if Sasha was in the main event at WrestleMania, it was a 4-way and she didn't win, she still wouldn't be happy. And that's a scary thing. I'm sorry. In this business, it's a scary thing.
True.
And Charlotte grew up in it. We know Charlotte gets it. She grew up in it.
There's a guy like EC3 that carried a company, carrying a title. He can't find a spot on a damn show. He's just like a jobber weirdo that hangs out in the back. And Sasha, it's all about Sasha. That's the impression I get as a fan. Listen, I don't know Sasha, never met Sasha, never tweeted Sasha, don't care about Sasha. Point is, I'm a fan judging your behavior because you're a TV show worker and you play a character on a TV show. This is how you're going to act. I would get you off my TV show. Bottom line.
And she can never be cheered again, for those who say somebody can never be booed again.
Yeah, because that's not happening already.
I mean, think about it. I mean, honestly, if you were watching The Office years ago and Kevin came to the producers and said, I don't like what you guys are doing with me. I'm not in the top spot. I'd like to be Dwight from now on.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. And if not, I'm going to go down on the floor and kick and scream and carry on. Well, okay, we'll make you Dwight then.
Yep.
I mean, what reality are you in? Sasha Banks, this is the business that you chose, professional wrestling. And sometimes you will be on top, but sometimes you won't. And sometimes you're going to have to lay down and lose, and that's just the nature of the game. And when you do that, do it as a professional. Do it like Charlotte did it. Do it like Ronda Rousey did it. Do you think Ronda Rousey is tickled pink about the fact that she had to lay down to Becky Lynch and take that pin? Do you think that she's, that's the greatest thing on earth to her? I'm sure it's not. But I didn't hear any stories about her laying down in the back and kicking and screaming and carrying on.
For someone who is as competitive to be at the highest level of athletics for a woman ever in Ronda Rousey.
And she has a reputation outside of professional wrestling.
That's my point. I mean, her in real life competition has her as a single female sports competitor has probably been at the highest level any woman has been in any sport. Like you said, she didn't do this. They need to understand they would not be main eventing without Ronda.
I want to say this too about Sasha. I'm seeing people, you had a big conversation with one of our subscribers on Twitter, and I'm seeing this mindset that she gets a belt and then she loses it right away. People have to keep in mind, first off, it's not a real sport, okay? Second off, she loses the belt right away. She has the belt. Why are people forgetting? Like, I see sentences and they're not paying attention to the first part of the sentence. Feel free to have whatever opinion you have of Sasha Banks. I don't care. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, okay? But the bottom line is she gets the belt. She has to get the belt in order to lose the belt. They're putting her in the spot time and time and time again, and that's not enough for her. Meanwhile, they have a bunch of people behind her. Look, we're talking about like a Ruby Riott who could obviously work. Ember Moon. The list goes on and on. They're loaded with talent. And you're going to complain that she loses the belt all the time she gets the belt. It doesn't make sense to me.
Come on. In the women's storyline, she's basically number 3 in totality in the last 2 years behind Ronda and Charlotte.
Sure, easily.
She's number 3. How is that a bad thing? Like that just she's arrogant, number 1, apparently. Mm-hmm. And the people, they're just not looking at it logically. And our boy who talks to us on Twitter, goes to NEW shows. I forget his Twitter handle. I throw it out there. Maybe Stames can find it. I love the interaction. The interaction was great. It stayed professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We went back and forth. My only point being was this idea that Sasha's been mistreated. I just don't agree with that. That's my only point. I'm not telling you that the way WWE books is right, wrong, and different. No. But if you look at the way they're booking and the way Sasha's been booked, she's been booked as well as anybody in the last 2 or 3 years. Everybody gets a title and loses it. Everybody has an anticlimactic title run. Unless you don't defend a title like Brock Lesnar, he's had the best title run because he didn't defend it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Intercontinental title, it's U.S. title, it's tag titles. They're all interchangeable. But Sasha Banks has been in those spots. Ember Moon hasn't. Nia Jax has barely been there. There's been the only other woman you could honestly put on that level is Alexa Bliss.
So is part of the problem here because the story was that she felt blindsided by the fact that they were told apparently pretty much right, there at WrestleMania that they were going to drop those belts. Is part of the problem, we talked in the past about the Yellow Book and how when Pat Patterson had the book, he could tell you a year from now, 2 years from now, what you were going to be doing. Mm-hmm. So is that part of the problem that, if she had known that, hey, look, you're going to win these tag belts, you're going to hold on to them for 3 months, whatever, 4 months, and then you're going to drop them to the Iconics. Had she known that going in, maybe the transition would have been a little bit easier, but for some reason, she didn't know they were going to drop the belts. It sounded like she authentically thought they were going to hold the belts for a long time. And who knows, maybe somebody told them that. I don't know. But we all know that's the WWE. They could change their mind in a heartbeat.
Right.
And I'm sure they did.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, you basically stole it there. Yep.
So Hollywood, could it be that not having the Yellow Book could actually add to all of this?
Well, yeah. On one side, I would see a worker's perspective, showing up at the show and going, oh yeah, change of plans, you're dropping the titles tonight. I would be pissed. But on the flip side, you can't go Hulk Hogan 1999 about it because you think you have creative control because you're 27 years old and you think you deserve it. You have to understand this is who you're working for. I'm sure plans change at the last. Hell, people used to get give Eric Bischoff heat for rewriting the show in the car on the way to the arena. Now it's accepted. They're telling you. How many things do you need to see? Vince is writing that show sometimes, according to some people that used to work there, sometimes during the show, he's changing things. If you work there and you know that, you can't be surprised by anything.
No.
That's the bottom line. You just have to go in that mentality. Look, whatever they're telling me today could change tomorrow, and that's where I work. You know? Sasha, go to Impact. It sure seems that they have things laid out very nicely over months at a time. So go there if that's what you want.
You're the same place I was going to go with that, and I'm going to reiterate the point I made earlier. I still believe Sasha wasn't put in that main event spot, and I think ultimately that's where she felt she should be. And I don't think anything was going to be good enough for her. I really don't. You got to know where you're working. Like Edward said, you got to know. This could happen.
What's your gut telling you, Hollywood? Will Sasha Banks be wrestling for the WWE anytime in the next month?
Don't know a damn thing about her contract. I'm going to say yes because I'm going to assume that she is under contract and you can't sit out. This isn't the NFL. And she's going to lose money if she does. So I would say yes, but the minute that contract is up, she's out if they don't release her beforehand.
Yeah, they did give her some time to go home and think about. Apparently, she was threatening to quit.
Yeah, now you can't just quit, though.
Right, and I guess they let her go home and say, you need to think about what you want to do here.
Right. So maybe they'll say, okay, you don't want to be here, fine, we'll cut you loose. So that could happen, but...
AC, what do you think? Will Sasha Banks be wrestling for the WWE within the next month?
I'm going to say...
Will they kowtow to her? Will they give her the Money in the Bank briefcase?
I'm going to say she will be wrestling because of what everything Hollywood said. I think financially and contractually, I just don't see how you don't. I don't think she'll be in a big spot. And that's, from what we could tell, the facts of the matter. Very questionable. I'm sorry. It's just not professional. It's not professional. It's childish.
Anything else on the women's evolution? Hollywood, anything else on Ember Moon or...
Push the Orchids. That's all I'll say. Push the Orchids.
Well, the Orchids might get their push now that Paige is in their corner. We'll see. And who knows, if Mr. Nakamura ever comes into that role, forget it. Forget it. All right, then. We did it. It's in the books. If you have a comment about either of these situations, whether it be having to do with Becky Lynch and her title run, maybe you think Becky Lynch is the best women's champion that ever lived, put it down there in the comments. Same thing with Sasha Banks. If you think she'd been wronged, or maybe you don't agree with what Sasha did, put it down in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Let's spark a conversation on it. Here we go. So for the Hollywood Edwards, and my man, Captain Chaos, this is General Stames saying so long, and we'll see you next time on Soldiers of Shoot.